Love and marriage go together like a horse and
Well, last week in Marriage 101, Eileen and Starr Calo-oy got to chat about how to avoid arguments in relationships, and because of its popularity. Starr Calo-oy is back. We are talking about how to avoid those arguments. This is part 2. Starr, thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you're here. We've got some books where people can actually find more information. We'll talk about those in just a minute. But let's start off. We're picking up where we left off, part 2. Men do this, okay? We're going to talk about women too, but men unknowingly start arguments. Tell us how.
Exactly. Well,
I know this is breaking news this morning, but they do.
Hot off the press.
I was going to say, they've never heard this before. No kidding.
Well, one way they do it is, hey, what are you so upset about? You shouldn't be upset about that.
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's silly to be upset. Oh, bad idea.
Right.
That is a trigger automatically for a woman, and it'll start an argument. He's invalidating her feelings, or he's not apologizing when he's been found out to be wrong. He just leaves it alone. And, I mean, he just acts like it didn't even happen and it's over with, but she's still in pain. Many times men will start a fire and then get angry because they have to go get the hose.
This is true. Not apologizing when they've been proven wrong.
That's
now,
right.
Obviously, we're doing this segment because we want it to be helpful to people in relationships with regards to how to avoid arguments. So, this is for the men out there. What can they do to make their woman feel better once they've obviously made a bad decision and gone there, we can say that?
Well, what he can do, even to prevent an argument, Bridget, is to ask her to share her feelings. Honey, can you please talk to me? Share your feelings. I need to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
He needs to hear her good reasons for being upset.
Yes.
And also, no suggestions. He doesn't need, she just needs to be heard. No, and to give eye contact.
Yes.
Bob would go in and he would say, honey, come on, just let me hear what you have to say. He'd lay down on the bed, put his hands behind his back, his neck, and he'd just lay there and listen, and I'd pace back and forth to saying how upset I was about this and that. It could be, you know, whatever with the kids or whatever. By the time I got through talking about it, I already had the problem solved, and he just was totally baffled that I had the problem solved without him.
Bob, your husband of 20-something plus years, we should point
30,
that out.
right.
Yes, 30. Yes. Let's talk about how women unknowingly start arguments.
Okay, by not being direct. A man is it's very difficult for a man to second guess a woman. A woman and a woman can usually read between the lines. Men like women to be direct. This is what you've done that has upset me. You know, without judging him, without trying to pull away her approval, and also by not showing disapproval. Oh, you know, in other words, you dirty dog, you dirty rat.
Right.
You know, you don't want to do a James Cagney on your husband.
So good advice for men and women. Now, what are some of the solutions that both can marry to have this be harmonious?
Well, one of the things is you want to make sure that you don't point out, to get back to men, women should not point out his mistakes. Well, you did this and this and this, and why didn't you do it this way, and why didn't you do that, and you should have done this. Should-haves and could-haves are really bad as far as men are concerned. Also, we've got to be careful to watch our tone of voice. Women do. Make sure that we watch our facial expressions, all of those things. He doesn't need a mother. He needs a wife, okay? And as far as...
that was good.
He definitely wants that. Now, as far as solutions are concerned, I believe that we do have a screen that we have that's ready to go up right now, if they'd like to put that up. You want to lower your voice. You want to make sure that you understand that the man is not your enemy. He is not your enemy. You don't need to go to war with him.
Right.
Allow for the differences in your relationship and personality, like we talked about a few weeks ago, personality differences. You need to study his personality. Show love and respect to him. Make sure that you respect him. He's head of your household regardless of what he's done. Repeat back to him what you think he said to you so that you make sure you're on the same page. Don't criticize. Seek to solve the problem rather than to criticize and to argue about the way you're arguing, like we said last week. Don't seek to win the argument, and do not manipulate. Don't bring up the past. You don't want to do that. You don't want to exaggerate. Don't give him the silent treatment and go off and be
that works for me, Starr. No silent treatment. Are we killing the silent treatment?
Don't call names. That's a real big no-no. Don't withhold sex. Don't be sarcastic. And you don't want to use anger to overpower in the relationship. Men, don't raise your voice and yell to intimidate, to make them be quiet and cower down. Women don't do the same thing. So those are some of the tips.
And indeed, you incorporate all of these, and they do add to a healthy marriage. And relationships become open, and you're talked about to one another. You're talking about what's going on and how things are happening. And I want to mention that Starr is actually talking to people about this all the time in her Marriage 101 classes. Join a class at any time. June 18th is when they started, but they go on until October 1st. She's looking to register people now if you'd like to come and have an open dialogue about what you're going through. 210-521-8668 is her phone number, and there's the website, marriage101.net.
And more tips on KKYX.
Of course, on KKYX, 6:80 a.m. That's on Saturdays. Caregiving 101, 9 to 10, but Marriage 101. That's where you ask those questions from 10 to 11 a.m. And there's the number you can call in. A lot of people do and gotten a lot of good help. 210-521-8668, caregiversadvice.net.